It's your boy King Leo, and I'm back with another video. And this time we're going to be talking about last night's episode of 60 Days In. We're getting down to the wire. There's only a few episodes left. So this is where things really start heating up. And, people are in there for a while. Tensions are high. And that starts to come out in their personality and the way they make decisions. Will it be rational? Will it be irrational? We're going to see. So, last time I did a video, I kind of just watched the episode, so I was able to remember a few things. I watched it last night, so I made sure I took notes so I wouldn't forget anything, and I could just go through everything. So I'll be looking down, because I'm be looking at my other phone right here while this phone is recording. And I'm just gonna go through chronological order what happened last night on the episode. So we start on the episode with the women, and if you remember, Jasmine had got sent out the pod because she got in a fight. And Jasmine is the girl that everyone's annoyed with, the honorary DO, as she calls herself. And everybody who was involved in that fight went into lockdown, but she came strolling right back into the pod. That's when you can tell something ain't right about this. Everybody's getting in trouble, even people who tried to stop the fight, and somebody who was a willing participant. Well, even though she was swung on first, she did swing back, and she's able to come right back into the pod. So automatically, something's fishy there, and everybody's like, damn, we finally thought we got her out, and she's back. Vivian is like really like over the whole situation, and she's over the whole guard, just always confronting them and just trying to pick on them. And Dio even came to her and was like, you were the one who egged on the whole situation, and you told the girl to go up there to fight, so she's gonna put her in lockdown in her room for like a few hours. And I'm like, what sense does that make? The girl who was in the fight came right back into the pod, and she's out there chilling in the common room, and Vivian, one of the participants of the program, has to go on lockdown. Like, that's totally not fair. And you can definitely tell the DOs are playing some favorites here. And basically, I don't know why. I don't know what Jasmine is doing for them. I guess she's giving them some information, but she has them in the palm of her hands. Then we go to Abner. I told you last week, Abner, he's an enforcer for the Chicanos. And in his pod, there was a boy named Kaika who was basically infiltrating all the circles, the Woods, which is the white guys, the blacks, the kinsfolk, and Chicanos. And he was like mixed race, but they told me he had to pick, and he wasn't down to pick. So in the end, he ended up disrespecting Abner, told him to shut the F up, and Abner had to, enforce. He really enforced the law on him. So he pushed him, punched him. So when they interviewing him, he's getting really emotional because he's like, he sees so much for these people in here, and he looks at himself as a father figure, and he was like, that Kaike doesn't have that father figure in his life, and he's just a kid, he's in a man's world. And he's like, that's kind of like me years ago, because if you don't know Abner, he was in jail in his younger years, and he was a gang member, he was in the Latin Kings. So he feels for him that he had to take it to that physical force, but it's like he also had to do what he had to do. And he's like, he's not liking what this place is making him become, but he also, that's why I'm here, because I want to change some of these things, like what I did, and it shouldn't be happening, but that's like the rules of the land right now, and basically I'm following that because I have to, because I'm here, but also this place is making me like that. So he's like, that's why I'm here. I want to try to enforce some change. So we get to David. He's tired right now. He just feels like he's the king. Well, they call him Prince, but he's acting like he's the king. He feels like he's already accomplished everything he set out to do. He's like, I've already done anything. He's like, I've climbed to the top of the blacks. He was like, I found out how to get in drugs in here. I've done this, I've done that. My time is not needed in here anymore. I'm ready to go. I'm like, okay, that's not the program. You don't figure out what you need to figure out, and then you can go home when you feel like it. No, it's called 60 days in, and you got to stay your ass in there for 60 days. So just suck it up and finish your time. So he's just feeling at this point that he could do anything he wants to do. So there's this guy named Dylan in there, and he's a white guy, so he should be rolling with the Woods. But he don't feel like he should. He wants to associate with, he wants to associate with the blacks, who are called the kinsfolk, because that's who he's more comfortable with. That's who he vibes more with. That's who he has more in common with. And I feel him on that. But it's like, you got to follow the rules of the place. I personally feel the same way as Dylan. I feel the same way as David. You should be able to roll whoever you want to roll with. Like, whoever has your back, whoever you're comfortable with, that's how it should go. But that's not how it goes there. So, you could talk to people. You can't get too close. But you definitely cannot eat with anybody else besides your own group. So he's talking about Dylan that he wants to eat with them. David's like, then just do it. It's time to eat lunch. He gets his food, sits down with David and the rest of the black people. And this automatically, you know, the white people notice right away. It raises their antennas. They're having conversations. They're not feeling it. Josh, who's one of the leaders, he's like, you know, that's effed up. You know, you can't use us and like basically have our back, have us have your back and do stuff for you, but then betray us like this. So he wants Mark, who's another participant in the program, to be able to go there and have a conversation with Dylan. It's like, nah, you can't do this. This is wrong. So eventually Mark has a conversation with him, and Dylan finds that funny because he doesn't even know Mark had a role with the Woods. He was like, you've done nothing. I've been in the same pod with you the whole time. How do you have a leadership role in here? He was like, well, I guess. He was like, but he still feels like the guy should be able to do what he want to do. So that's the tension right there. Like, I feel Dylan on that, and I'm on his side. But for his safety and his protection, it's not the smartest move. Now we go back to the women. And the whole women's storyline basically revolves around everybody hating Jasmine. All three participates, Brooke, Jasmine, and Vivian, plus everybody else in the pod. Nobody really likes her. And so I feel like they've been kind of boring this season. It just feels like it's all revolved around this one chick, Jasmine. So everybody's on the phone at one point, and this one girl who's pregnant goes to use her pen to go make a phone call, and she can't. It's telling her pen is at use at that very moment, and because only one person can use the pen at a time. So everybody just assumes it's Jasmine. I don't know why they jumped to that conclusion. Jasmine was on the phone at that time. I'm like, she could be using her own pen. But I guess she has that reputation. When you have that reputation, when you've done stuff in the past, like, you're going to be accused of everything. And so basically they feel like it's her. And this really angers Jasmine. She was like, how you like doing this to a pregnant girl? Like, you pick on people who can't defend themselves. You pick on old ladies, you pick on this pregnant girl. They just feel like it's wrong. They like reaching their boiling point. And I don't blame them, because you know, you don't want to deal with somebody who's petty and just doing stuff. And Jasmine don't even seem like a tough chick. Like, I would not be afraid of her at all. But she knows she can get under people's skin. And when you're under that high, stressful situation already, you don't need somebody like Jasmine in there that's just going to make life miserable. You just want to serve your time. You want to try to make connections. And you want to make the best of it while you're there. And have someone like that is not how you want to spend your time. They have the meeting about Dylan. And they're like in the pod, and well, one of the room in the pod, and they're telling him that he can't do that. And David's like, nah, it's okay if he wants to be with her. And Josh, the leader of the Woods, is like, no. He's like, he goes out there to the yard, to prison. He's like, he is a dead man walking. Like, he is a target now and all stuff. And David, you know, he's participating in this program. Like, he don't know about this life. He swear he knows everything. He's like, nah, he's good, he's good. But evidently he's not good. They're trying to warn him. They're not doing this because they just want to. Some of them, not all of them are racist. Some of them are racist, a part of the Woods. He said they have white power with that too. But some of them know this is just the politics and this is the law of the land. And by him rolling with y'all, he's putting a target on himself. So they're trying to save him right now. And you're basically saying that, no, it's okay. So you're putting this guy in harm's way just for your own ego, which I'm not liking. I was saying David was like my MVP last week, but this week he's making stupid decisions and just making decisions based off his emotions and based on how he think he's on some certain hierarchy. But it's like, nah, you have to, you don't have to go with everything, but you have to be smart about what you do to not jeopardize your or anybody else's safety. So that's how I feel about that. So Jasmine is really upset at this point, and she's ready to face the consequences to fight Jasmine just to get her out the pod. She's just had it with her. Everybody's had it with her. So Jasmine gets a ticket for doing something wrong, and finally, because they've always been complaining about her, and then she confronts her. And Jasmine is like at the end, does anybody have any other questions? So Jasmine is like, yeah, I do. And she gets in her face and tell her how she feels. She was like, you do this, you're disrespectful, you're rude, we don't appreciate the things you do. And Jasmine's just like, no, I don't do that. And they're like, yes, you do. No stuff. So at this point, it looks like Jasmine wants to fight. But Dio's come and said their problem, and she goes, nah, we're just having a conversation. And she says she's lucky at that point because she was about to swing her. These participants always say that, they was about to do this, but they never do that. So I doubt that it would have gotten physical. But at that point, Jasmine goes out. She tells the Dio what's going on, how she caused so much disruption. Next thing you know, the Dios come in, goes to Jasmine's pod, and take her stuff out. At this point, everyone is sharing. All the women are happy. They're coming up to Jasmine, congratulating her. They're like, you did it. She's finally gone. I wouldn't be surprised. Next week, a few hours later, we see Jasmine rolling right back into that pod because she's going to get her way out of this. I just don't see her getting in trouble or basically just having a little argument and then somebody saying she's causing problems, and now they finally decide to take her out after all the complaints after the fight. What's so different about this situation? I feel like they're playing with their emotion. They're probably somewhere back respected with the DO, just having a good old laugh, good old conversation like, these girls probably really think we took you out. And she's like, I know. Then like, I'll be back there in a couple of minutes. You ready to go back now? Okay, let's go. Let's put you back in now. Let's see how they act. I just feel like we're not the last we're gonna see Jasmine. We're probably gonna see her next week. David. This was just not a good week for him. So he tells B Shore, who got rolled out of Abner's pod, that he knows Abner. He's like, yeah, I think my homie's over there. It's like, okay, first of all, how do you know who's over there unless y'all got arrested together? And then Abner's a part of the Chicanos, you're part of the Blacks, so why is this your homie and all kind of stuff? And then he tells him, he's like, oh, from New York? And he's like, yeah. He's like, oh, who you like? Oh, that's the one I got into it with. And then I'm like, he's lucky he didn't get questioned more on that, because I would have been questioned, like, how you know him? Like, B Shore was kind of slick about it, but I feel like deep down inside he knew he had more questions, and that's why later on he found his way to go back to the old pod with Abner. And as we see for the preview next week, he's going to tell Abner, oh, I met your boy David in the other pod. So it's like he didn't make it too hot when David was telling him, and David felt like he was the king. When the interview where the producers asked him, why would you do that? He was like, I could do whatever I want in this pod. I could say whatever I want and no one's going to question me. And that's the end of that. Now, you got any more questions for me? I'm like, David, you are the cockiest bro in here, and it's going to come back to bite you. I'm just not feeling him this episode. David, he's talking to this DO named Bratcher. At first, I feel like Bratcher was like really bothering him, but he's liking Bratcher. He feels like he's someone he can voice his grievances to and talk to, and he's like saying to the camera, he's like, I wish I could just tell him, I'm a police, I'm a sergeant, I'm not like this, I want to tell him so bad, like I want you, kind of stuff. And then he's talking to Bratcher like they homies, like they know each other before they came here, like they're about to just go leave in a few hours when they get off and about to go play basketball and, get a few drinks. I'm like, why are you talking to him like you're so comfortable? Like, I understand having a good relationship with one of the DOs, but you're talking to him like you're not even one of these inmates and you're up here and they're down here and you're on the same level as him. He's like, I want to talk to you in private. He's like, oh, you can talk to me now. They leave. It looks mad suspicious because no DOs usually take a prisoner out unless it's just the producers take the prisoners out, not the DOs. He's gone for a half an hour. After that, this raises the producers' red flags. They take David out for an interview. And now if I'm an inmate, that's rated as my red flags. Okay, you just went out with a DO for like half an hour and then the producers are taking you right away. Like, it's looking fishy. It's like, but David feels like he's like the kingpin of the whole place. He probably feels like nobody's gonna question this. This is normal behavior. So when he's talking to the producers, he's like, they're like, what do you talk about? You were gone for a long time, as the producers, that kind of worries them when we don't have eyes on you. We don't know what you're going on. We don't know if you're safe. He's like, no, everything's good. Let's have a conversation with him about B Shore rolling out and just, some of the things that's going on in the pod. They were like, that's all you talked about? And he's like, yeah. And we know he's lying because you were just telling the cameras you want to tell him who you are, and then you have a one-on-one conversation with him and you're going for half an hour, and then we get the previews to next week. It's going down. It's going down next week. It is going down. The sheriff is hearing that someone compromised themselves in the whole program. He's driving. He's got to get down there. He's got to save these people before, things get hot. They show him Mark, He's saying doing this interview is the most dangerous thing he's done. I guess the prisoners are hearing something, they're rebelling, and they don't want to do interviews no more. They feel like it's a whole snitch campaign. People are approaching the girls talking about y'all on that program 60 days in. So it's not looking good. We already had somebody last season compromise the program, blow their cover. And now this person, even though telling an inmate is bad, telling a DO you could trust to is just as bad. It's like, you can't do that. So every time we supposed to do the program, don't tell anybody and leave. So this is gonna make it crazy for next week. It's like, are they just gonna like continually take them out one by one, or they have to stick everybody at the same time, making it mad hot and making it look suspicious? And if they do that, there's like, how you do a second season at this place, because every place has had a second season. You can't do a second season is compromised within the first season, because all the DOs, all the prisoners gonna know that this was 60 days in, this was the program. So this was a good episode, and it's looking like it's leading to an even better episode next week, which I can't wait for, because David, you done messed up. You really done up. So I'm really looking forward to this. This was another good episode, and I can't wait for the reunion. This reunion should be pretty good too. So what are your thoughts on 60 Days In? Are you feeling David's decisions? You feel like he's basically an idiot? Like I feel like he's really let me down this episode. Let me know in the comments, and make sure you subscribe to my page, because I'm going to be doing more 60 Days In videos. And make sure you comment, but make sure you hit that bell, like, comment, and subscribe. And that's been your boy King Leo, and I'll see you back with another video one of these days.